China has denied reports about the possible deployment of its forces to Ukraine. Earlier, media sources claimed that Beijing was considering participation in a coalition to send peacekeeping forces and that the Kremlin was allegedly open to the presence of Chinese troops. However, China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs dismissed these claims as false.
The rumors about China participating in a peacekeeping mission are completely untrue. China's position on Russia's war against Ukraine has been consistent and clear.
Discussions about deploying military contingents after the cessation of hostilities in Ukraine have gained momentum in light of negotiations over a 30-day ceasefire between Moscow and Kyiv. According to Ukrainian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Georgy Tikhy, several countries are expressed interest in sending troops.
We already have a list of countries that have expressed readiness to participate, with some even officially signaling their willingness to join such a coalition and military contingents. In our view, a ground presence alone is not enough. It is crucial to also discuss securing Ukrainian airspace and maritime zones, not just in Ukraine's coastal waters but across the entire Black Sea.
France and the United Kingdom are among the strongest advocates for this initiative. In early March, under their leadership, was formed a coalition of the willing, a group of nations dedicated to providing military aid to Ukraine and establishing an international peacekeeping force. According to Ukraine Prime Minister Keir Starmer, more than 30 countries are prepared to join this coalition.
So we're going from the sort of concept to the plan, and so today we're looking at plans to keep the sea, the sky and borders safe in Ukraine, working with the Ukrainians, because I'm clear in my mind that if there is a deal, and I hope there is, that we need to do the planning beforehand, not after the deal, which is why I'm pleased that we're able to get to this stage today.
Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda has also voiced his country's support for this initiative. However, he emphasized that the success of the peacekeeping mission depends on broad participation from members of the coalition. On March 27th, a summit of the coalition will be held in Paris, where will be discussed the issue of deploying troops.
My country is ready to provide the necessary support, and we are talking about very concrete numbers of our military. So I think the discussions will be done, but I would like to underline that Europe will play a larger role, but for that we need decisions.
Despite growing support, partners have yet to reach a consensus on the format of the peacekeeping force. As an alternative, Polish President Andrzej Duda has proposed using a UN peacekeeping contingent. This idea has been backed by Italy's Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani.
I believe this should be considered. I have always said that we could explore the creation of a buffer zone with UN peacekeeping forces. I also believe that involving China in this process would be beneficial for ensuring peace and stability in this complex region.
Sending of UN peacekeepers is not supported by Volodymyr Zelensky. According to the President of Ukraine, the United Nations cannot provide security guarantees, as it does not have a mandate to protect Ukrainian territory. Zelensky also pointed out that by invading Ukraine, Russia has violated multiple UN international law provisions, and there is nothing stopping it from doing so again. Reported by Katerina Bastun, Andriy Dmitrenko, UATV News.
The peacekeeping contingent in Ukraine will include aviation and naval forces, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. Simply having a ground presence in Ukraine is not enough, stated the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Georgy Tikhy.
We see a significant number of countries expressing their readiness to participate in this. We already have a list of countries that have shown this willingness, even officially signaling their readiness to join such a coalition, such a military contingent. It's important not only to have a ground presence, but also air and naval components. Presence at sea is not just about protecting Ukraine and Ukraine's economy, but also global food security.
Putin has no right to prevent Europe from participating in a peacekeeping mission in Ukraine, believes Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs of the UK, David Lammy, and the EU will not give him a veto. The peacekeeping contingent should become part of the security guarantees for Kyiv. According to the Foreign Minister of the UK, Putin will break any ceasefire agreement if it is not backed by solid security guarantees.
At stake is not only the future of Ukraine, but the collective security of our continent and therefore Britain's direct national interests. And the UK is prepared, of course, to consider committing British troops on the ground.
On March 20th, the Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer, held a closed-door meeting with the military leadership of several countries. The main focus of the talks was the details of the coalition of the willing plan to support Ukraine. According to Reuters, around 30 mostly European countries have already offered to contribute troops, aircraft, ships or funding to the peacekeeping mission in Ukraine.
But it is vitally important that we do that work, because we know one thing for certain, which is a deal without anything behind it is something that Putin will breach. We know that because it's happened before, and I'm absolutely clear in my mind it will happen again.
Among the countries willing to send troops to Ukraine is Lithuania. Vilnius will take part in the peacekeeping mission once a ceasefire agreement is reached, President Gitanas Nausėda assured.
And my country is ready to provide the necessary support, and we are talking about very concrete numbers of our military troops, but there should be commitment of all countries participating in this coalition to provide this support. So far, Russia is imitating the negotiations, talking about possible peace and about possible ceasefire, but they are not even ready to keep the ceasefire as promised, not to attack, not to strike the critical infrastructure.
An alternative plan was proposed by President of France Emmanuel Macron, according to The Telegraph. It concerns a peacekeeping mission led by the United Nations. However, Ukraine does not see this plan as an alternative, stated President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky.
The UN will have no mandate to protect Ukraine if Putin brings war to us again. The question is whether such a mandate will exist for the contingent. This question remains unanswered. But undoubtedly, when there are clear military forces, air defense, ships, planes, and a serious army, with real intelligence from our partners in Ukraine, it is certainly very dangerous for the Russians to go against such infrastructure.
The next coalition of the willing meeting is scheduled for March 27 in Paris, announced President of France Emmanuel Macron. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky will attend. According to Macron, the meeting will focus on the participants' commitments to providing long-term support to Kyiv. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Kristina Dombrovska, UATV News.